All right, you're welcome back. It's still daybreak and it's time for our newspaper review. So we'll take a look at the stories on the front pages of Daily Trust. Starting off boldly in front on JAMB, 2025 UTME candidates seek total cancellation as JAMB admits error. Why we failed Oloyede. At the top, DSS 6 court order to ban Utomi's shadow government. PDP crisis, NWC meets today as Southeast Caucus threatens exit. Nigeria's insecurity worrisome, says British High Commissioner. One herder, over 100 cows killed in fresh plateau attack. No more coups in Nigeria, says Gowon, and discordant tunes over ban on live political programs in Kano. How Yar'Adua's memo on election triggered rift with Obasanjo, says Sule Lamido. Those are the stories we have on Daily Trust. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed. And now back to the studio. Joining us to take a look at some of the dailies or the headlines, we have Editor-in-Chief Dateline newspaper Nasri Lawal. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. So a lot has been said about JAMB. We had that in our discussion, in our interactive segment. And the question we asked is I'm sorry, is an apology enough to compensate for the life lost, the mental torture, the scores, the structural failure, the technical glitch? You know, what do you make of when the statistics first came out, their reaction to it, saying it's normal? Remember last year we had almost 77 points, but people didn't speak up. When the statistics came out, we even had the minister saying, oh, it shows that they have curbed and nipped all malpractice in the board. That is why we're seeing the numbers, thereby discrediting the ability of our students. And a lot of students spoke out, parents spoke out, lawsuits filed. A student lost her life and an apology finally came out. What do you make of all of that played out?
Well, I think it's still good that the JAMB registrar, found it important to actually apologize, and also admit to the fact that there were glitches in the UTME exams, because what actually happened immediately after the results were announced, they tried to say that, it followed
due process.
Yeah, due process, and then based on the trajectory of the exam in the last 6-7 years, it has always been like that. But for an exam of that magnitude, only 22% success rate, or only 22% with 200 and above, I think it was not what so many people expected. And then if you look at the number of those that are now expected to resit the exams, which is, I think, around 18 or so percent, of the total number of students that wrote the exam. I think it's quite, the number is quite significant. I also saw in the news that some people are saying the whole exam, should be yes. I don't think we need to go to that extent, because the JAMB registrar, is quite particular about the number of centers affected, in Lagos and then in the Southeast. And I saw, even some people in Kogi State trying to say, no, we should just, cancel everything. I don't think that's a very good thing to do. And it also shows you the limit of technology sometimes, but if you are doing something of this magnitude, I think it's always good to have a fallback option, so that when this fails, you know that there is something for you to use as an alternative. Because, when the Minister of Education is already all over the place telling Nigerians that from this year or from next year, even WAEC and NECO will now go CBT and what have you. Honestly, I think it's quite significant that people have spoken up, and then the JAMB itself has also responded, giving others, some people, opportunity to resit the exam, so that those who were not given the due, what they duly deserve, will now find an opportunity to retake the
examinations. All right, let's move away from that now to politics. PDP crisis. The NWC is meeting today, and there's also a threat from Southeast Caucus to exit. What do you make of what's playing out in the PDP, and what do you foresee coming out of this meeting?
Well, somehow they have made defections, to become something that is now in vogue. So if they want to defect, I think they should just go ahead and do that, because when the governor of Delta State, and his commissioners and other party chieftains decided to move away from the PDP to the APC, they were clear about that. You don't have to start blaming A, B, C, D because you want to take an action. If they are tired of the PDP, let them just find a way of moving into the APC. I hope what they expect, what they think they are not able to get in the PDP, they will be able to get that in the PDP, in the APC.
Saraki said they should leave if they want to leave, so they can find a way to restructure their party properly. But let's touch on insecurity now. One herder and over 100 cows killed in fresh Plateau attack. And Nigeria's insecurity is worrisome, says the British High Commissioner. Let's put this together. Herders farmers clashes. Doesn't have to be just Boko Haram or Lakurawa. That is also its own level of insecurity that's happening, because they've not found a common ground for both parties to work together and coexist together in this our agricultural sector. So what do you make of this constant herders farmers clashes and farmers retaliating, herders retaliating with the level of insecurity?
I remember, former columnist of the Daily Trust and former Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, saying that, in Nigeria, it's not easy to be a cow, if you see how they are being treated, because these are animals, they don't know what is happening. If you see them actually eating the crops of farmers, it's because somebody has, headed them into doing that. So honestly, if you have problem with people, I think you should find a way of settling it with people. I'm not saying carrying arms is the best way to go about it, but I hope with the Ministry of Livestock now in place, we'll find a way of, getting a lasting solution to this, because this thing is as old as you can remember. So honestly, going forward, I don't think Nigeria can continue, because if you know the number of cows, animals, the resources and what have you that we are losing to all this violence, honestly, we need to find a way of settling it.
Indeed, we need to find a common ground. Thank you so much, Senasiri, for making out time to always join us to share your fresh perspective on our News Bar Review. We do appreciate your presence.
Thank you for having me.
And to our listeners out there, thank you so much for sticking around and joining us through the show. We've come to the end of the show this morning. If you missed out on any aspect of our conversation, do well to join us on our social media handles and also on our live stream on YouTube, where you could catch up on the conversation again and keep yourself informed. Let's do this again tomorrow. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.